I hope you don't mind me answering with my own video because there is a lot of stuff that I noticed, both wrong and right, and just a lot of really cool details that I wanted to share. As for my experience with Philippine mythology and Filipino folklore, I have many years of creating media, comics, a podcast about it. I'm also a big fan of like a lot of media about it, and I do a lot of research just for my personal interests because I absolutely adore Filipino folklore. I have many books that I can reference. I have all comics that I have enjoyed from other Filipino creators, and this is the most famous one. It's called Trece. It's on Netflix. Watch it if you like. It's a dark adult cartoon. It's more of like an anime about Filipino folklore. So check that out. How I felt when I first saw the trailer, I'm excited. Like, I love all the little details about it. There are a couple of things that like strike me as a little wrong. First of all, we were clowning on this from way, way back in the day when we found out that the name of the Forgotten Island is Nakali, which is really stupid, and we've already explained why. So let's just move past that. Like I think that's the only thing that I still maintain is like a really dumb choice for this movie and is bad. Let's not talk about it. Anyway, other than that, I don't think that the portal should have opened with like a Filipino sun. I know why, because I looked at the details of the trailer and I've realized why it happened, but I don't think it's smart because it's very anachronistic. Like, imagine a portal to a world with Native American creatures opening with, like, the American flag. Like, that's how dumb that is. But I do like a lot of things about this trailer. One of them is that the main characters, I love them. They remind me of basically all of us when we were going to an all-girls school in the Philippines. It's very, like, there was clearly a lot of, like, care put into the visuals of this because they look just like any student from an all-girls Catholic school. I don't know if it's actually an all-girls Catholic school, but, like, that's how we looked like back in the day. I also really love the characters themselves. They seem really compelling, that you can see, like, their complete different, opposite personalities, but also why they became best friends. I like the, as somebody described, anik-anik culture, which is, like, it's sort of slang for ano-ano, meaning, like, whatever stuff, or, like, bunch of, like, what... Ano-ano means what, but it also just means like a bunch of random stuff. It's basically that Filipinos are maximalists. We keep as many things as we can to remember things. It's why we always like have pasalubong. It's always why we always have souvenirs to bring home. And the friendship bracelet containing all the memories is very Filipino. I think that's very accurate. Another thing is, when the portal opened, I noticed that the girl had like a stone in her hand, which is a reference to powerful stones, which we call agimat. There's also like many different words, like there's like niyog na bato. Like there are lots of like stones of power that we keep around us for luck, for strength, for many different reasons. You can actually buy them from a bunch of stalls in Quiapo, which is one of the oldest churches, and like in the shadow of that church is just a bunch of like very non-Catholic beliefs. You can buy agimat, which are talismans. They can also be stones. You can buy, and they're also called anting-anting, basically like lucky charms, but also just charms of power. And that stone was clearly inspired by that. Also, it reminds me a little of Darna, which is the most famous Filipina superhero. She swallows a stone of power to become Darna. That's like the whole thing. It's a very ancient sort of like belief that we still live with to this day. Everyone has their own lucky charm. Everyone believes in that very strongly, even in the Catholic context. When I was growing up, we would have like, my family, I would say, would give me rosaries, scapulars. Like, it's the same thing, just in a Catholic form. They're giving you lucky charms to keep you safe. It's very interesting. Another thing is the creatures that I saw. Some people have been identifying the colorful bird as Ibong Adarna, and I would say that's incorrect, but only because Ibong Adarna is not a mythical creature in the Philippines. Ibong Adarna is a mythical creature from a book, from a literature, a book of literature. A Filipino author created the Ibong Adarna, but it does have basis in mythology. We have many stories of magical birds, and one of the most famous magical birds is a sari manok, which is a colorful plumed chicken. It is literally a chicken. It is from Mindanao, You can see a lot of imagery of this manok everywhere. It is basically like you imagine like this very colorful chicken, like you see in the movie. This bird, this very majestic bird, that's actually a chicken. I don't know if it's a chicken in the movie, but like from the mythology, it's a chicken. And a lot of mythological birds from other parts of the Philippines have been portrayed like this chicken, even though that's not completely accurate. There are many birds believed to be connected to omens and mythology and magic, but they don't look like that chicken. The chicken is just so impressive looking that people just draw the magical birds as that chicken. That chicken is very, very influential, let's say that. So I think that's a sari manok, or at least like some sort of bird that is designed after the sari manok, which is a chicken. I'm running out of battery, no! Anyway, I did see that there are these statues called bulol, which are basically like these images of ancestors and spirits from the olden days. These are the statues that are sitting down. You see them in the trailer. You also see the monster that I presume to be the manananggal, because apparently Lea Salonga is voicing manananggal. I just heard this. I don't know if it's true. I haven't like done as much research as I should, but I think maybe that was the manananggal. And the kind-looking lady could be any creature. There are a lot of creatures I actually don't know because it's very regional. There's so many regional creatures I don't know. But my assumption right now is that she is a nuno sa punso, which is basically like this, could be benevolent, could be malevolent, like a dwarf, essentially. Like a small dwarf that lives on a hill, in an ant hill usually. And basically, if you treat them kindly, if you treat them respectfully and treat them well, you'll be blessed. But if you treat them badly or accidentally or on purpose, like destroy their home, you'll get cursed real hard. And a Nuno's curse is like awful. I was actually cursed by a duende when I was younger, and it's bad. I woke up with like scars on my arm. Anyway, so those are the creatures I've seen so far. Not very many have been shown in the trailer yet. I like how the maybe Nuno looks kind of like a pot. I don't know. There are like historical burial jars called manunggol. Just lots of really cool imagery. So far, that's all I can see. I don't see very many other like mythological details. Although, one small thing that I particularly appreciated, and I think it's all Liza Soberano. Bless Liza Soberano, we love you. We could never hate you. Is that the character says going to the US instead of going to the States or the United States or anything like that. That's a specific Filipino thing. You're going to say you're going to the US. You're going to the US. You're not going to the USA. You're not going to the States. You're going to the US. I think that one line made me feel a lot better about this movie, if that makes sense. There, you know that scene in Inglourious Bastards where that guy like does like the wrong 3 or something like that. That's how it feels every single time I see a detail where I'm like, that's wrong. And then whenever I see a detail that could have been wrong but was actually correct, I'm like, yeah, that's... Anyway, I have my criticisms, obviously. Like, I'm never going to stop clowning on Nakali. But I have met the director, one of the directors. His name is Januel Mercado. He's Filipino. He's amazing. Like, he did Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Like, we know he's amazing. So I'm very excited for this movie. I'll still be as critical as ever because I know a lot of this, like, information. And there are people who know better than I do. And like, if you misrepresent something, people would be mad no matter what. But I am very, like, optimistic about this movie. I love the sapphic undertones. I know this is based on the friendship between the two directors. I know, but still, if you're gonna be in outfits from an all-girls school, there's gonna be sapphic undertones no matter what. It's not gonna go away. But yeah, I hope that helped. I hope I gave you a lot of like fun information. If you have any more questions about Filipino folklore, Philippine mythology, I can answer quite a few of them. But again, I am not an encyclopedia. I don't memorize every single like creature, so I could be wrong. It could be based on something else. However, I do have a book over there. I could like search through it, but it's gonna be hard to like cross-reference it. But yeah, like if you have any questions, sauce me a follow, I guess, or like just get in touch, anything. Anyone who wants to ask me a question about Philippine mythology, I'd be happy to answer.